What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nazi with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone. And today we got another weekly game preview with three special guests once more. We got Tim from the Tim Sports Talk. We got Tony from Protech Sports. And of course, we got someone who's making their first appearance on the live streams in Jaman or Juice from the Juice Alert. So it should be another fun one. And without further ado, let's get started. The first question is, looking back on last week, of course, what are you guys' final thoughts about our win against the 49ers? And we'll start with Tim.
Great win. I said before, I thought this was actually one of the tougher matchups left on the schedule after the Pittsburgh game. I actually like our chances against the Seahawks more than I liked our chances this week. But our defense showed up big, huge, when our offense was pretty much non-existent. You know, J.D. McKissic had an okay game, but outside of that, it was rough. But defense, man, Chase Young, Cam Curl, defensive touchdowns. So it was a good defensive win.
Tony?
It's a solid win, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was ready to beat the 49ers. Not surprised we beat San Francisco, but the defensive performance was spectacular. Shout out to Chase Young with the defensive touchdown. Shout out to Cameron Crowe with the pick six. And not even just that, like they harassed Nick Mullins, they smacked him around. It was fun to see. Unfortunately, it's pros and cons to every win and loss, but offense.
Yeah.
But other than that, great win, 4 in a row. Haven't lost in a month. That's always good to see. Always good to see another victory on the win column. So I have no complaints, man.
Sure.
Other than y'all.
Yes. Juice?
Yeah, it was a great win for Washington, man. You know, I felt that it was kind of a toss-up game heading in just simply because, Washington was coming into the game with a 3-game winning streak. I felt that maybe, after, you have a big-time win versus Pittsburgh, you would come down to earth. But it seems like this team continues to get better and better every single week. You know, Ron Rivera, in the offseason, I was preaching saying he's going to be a hit. He's going to change the culture. And he's changed the culture really quickly, and especially due to the fact that Washington started the season, slow. It was great to see the team get a very good win versus the 49ers team that has had some injuries all year. But, the thing that you like about Washington is they're winning in multiple ways now. You look at the defense, running the football effectively. Obviously Terry McLaurin getting involved the last couple of weeks. He had an off game last week, but this team is winning in multiple ways. And this defensive front, it's really starting to come alive. Chase Young, he's definitely a hit. He was a big contributor to the win last week. Obviously, Alex Smith didn't do much. He got hurt in the game, but Dwayne Haskins came in. He made some good throws. He actually looked better than Alex Smith. I'm a big Dwayne Haskins fan. I know some people have given up on Dwayne Haskins personally. Yeah. I still think there is somewhat of a future for him, but it's good to see him, kind of getting the playbook down, moving the ball when you need to, and things like that. So it was a great win for Washington, no doubt about it. Definitely a tough game versus Seattle, but yeah, Washington is definitely in position to potentially win the NFC East.
Yeah, that's the key right there. I do want to shout out Brandon, Fins Up, appreciate the sub, Rico, Awesomeness Sports, everyone in the chat, Tone as well. Thank you guys for joining. But my thoughts, yeah, pretty much everything that you guys just said. Tony, what you said in particular about the offense not showing up and the defense showing up. The offense is worrying me a bit, but like you guys all said, the defense has been carrying us to this 4-game winning streak, so we don't need our offense to do too much in order to keep winning games. This week, I hope we do show up against the Seahawks. We'll get into that a little bit further. But, yeah, great win. 4-game winning streak at the top of the division, 6-7. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what we got in Seattle, but defense definitely stepped up. Cameron Curl, Chase Young, even guys like Jerron Payne, Jonathan Allen, who doesn't give you all the stats you want, I guess, or all the stats that people look for, but every single play he generates consistent pressure. And, yeah, I mean, it was a great game. J.D. McKissic even got involved. I hope Antonio Gibson gets back healthy soon. We'll get into that a little bit later, but good overall win, as you guys all mentioned. With the second question, I was wondering, what do you make of the messy quarterback situation right now with Alex Smith dealing with a calf injury? Juice's guy, Dwayne Haskins, coming in last week after several weeks of being benched, and he he did look good in the first couple throws, but after that, almost made a couple picks. What are your guys' thoughts on the quarterback situation? And do you think it's going to hold us back from making this playoff run? And we'll start with Juice this time.
Well, I mean, when it comes to Alex Smith, you kind of know what you're going to get. He obviously had his worst game of the year this past week, but it seems like that with a young team like Washington, he's more so suited a little bit more to kind of do the little things, I think that Dwayne is a more talented quarterback and has more upside, but, I think the coaching staff just felt that the first couple of games he just wasn't quite ready to steer the ship. Unfortunately, they kind of said, hey, you're benched. I thought that it was the wrong move. I still am not a fan of the fact that he got benched, but it is what it is, But if Alex Smith is healthy, which his status is kind of up in the air a little bit this week, if he's healthy, he definitely gives Washington a good chance to win. The one thing I will say, though, is it's going to get to a point where he's going to need to make some big boy throws. And you can't just keep winning off the defense, especially versus a quarterback like Russell Wilson. Whether it's Dwayne Haskins, Alex Smith, whoever starts this week, they're going to have to make some plays versus Seattle because Seattle, they're going to put some points. Now, they have been a consistent team all year. They did lose to the New York Giants, who started Colt McCoy. That was a bad look. So they're definitely a team that you can beat. They're among one of the weaker contending teams. Washington does get them at home. I do think that if Washington can get pressure with four guys and the secondary can hold up in the back end, you have a good chance to win that game. But you got to, take care of the football. Dwayne or Alex, they've got to make the good throws. And personally, I think that going forward, if Alex, maybe can't go this week, you might want to roll with Dwayne just because, if Ron really trusts Alex down the stretch, you don't want to put him out there when he's, really hindered with that injury because then things get worse. And, I'm personally a guy that likes Dwayne Haskins. I'm not going to be mad if he's starting the rest of the way, but, it seems like that Alex might be a little further along right now. So, I mean, you got to do whatever you probably got to do to make sure that Alex is healthy. And Washington's going to be an underdog this week anyway. So, starting Haskins might be the best thing for this week just to, preserve Alex Smith for his health. But if Alex Smith is healthy and he's ready to go, then you might want to start him. But I'm confident in Dwayne. I think that he's definitely grown from the benching a little bit, hopefully. And I think Alex Smith is good enough as well. I know you're shaking your head.
not shaking my hand all the way, but okay. Tony, what do you think?
All right. Well, first off, on the quarterback situation, interesting. First off, extremely intriguing. You're right. When I didn't look at the tape with Dwayne, it didn't look as bad as it looked like firsthand, like when we first watched the game. But it was still bad. It wasn't horrible. When I first saw the game, I was like, "This is trash. It's horrible. I don't know what the heck is Dwayne doing. Dwayne's pissing me off. Dwayne. Like,
yeah.
Like, you watch my channel, you hear me. I say Dwayne. Not that Dwayne. But I look back on it. It wasn't as bad. He was actually on fire to start the game. Like, the first couple of throws were on point throws. Yeah. That first drive, I wish you get in the end zone there, Dwayne. Come on, that guy, get in the end zone. But outside of like the last couple of throws, he was just errant. It was errant throws. It wasn't like those bad reads. He missed Steven Sims on a wide open touchdown pass in the red zone.
Steven Sims also dropped a bunch of passes.
Steven Sims dropping passes and shit now. Steven Sims pissed me off, but
a drop a week.
Another topic for another day. But if Dwayne starts, I'm not gonna cry on spilled milk. I think Dwayne could play well. I think he have moments of good play, but he'll have about 6 or 7 errant throws a game. That's what comes with Dwayne Haskins. I've come to grips with that. You come with Dwayne, he throws 30 passes, 8 of them are gonna be errant and they're gonna miss. It'll be bad misses. I've came with it. It's fine. It is what it is. But the other 22 throws might be solid throws. I'm not saying Dwayne is trash, and I'm not going to do that. We're not going to disparage our possible starting quarterback for this week. but if it's Dwayne, I'm not mad because I hope we can beat the Seahawks, but I won't be surprised we lost the Seahawks. But if it's Dwayne, I'm not going to cry about it. If it's Dwayne the rest of the way, might hinder us a little bit. I admit that.
Can I say something real quick? Say something quick?
Go ahead.
Obviously Smith probably is going to come back, pretty healthy, but this might be Dwayne's, last chance to really kind of audition, not only for the coaching staff, but maybe for 32 other teams because, depending on if Alex is coming back, maybe Haskins comes out this week and wins the game and plays really well. Then Ron says, hey, he's got it. Maybe he rolls with him the rest of the way. But if he doesn't, this might be a little audition for Haskins, kind of say, hey, I've sat down, I've learned the playbook a little bit. Hey, I'm a different quarterback. I'm ready to take this team where it needs to go. Because one thing that Ron has kind of showed is he has an open mind. He's not going to, just stay put on one guy and say, hey, you're going to start here the whole week. He has an open mind. So this opportunity for Dwayne to really show that he maybe has grown or, he could just blow it. But either way, it's kind of one of those things where it's not really a must win for Washington. I think the Carolina game is definitely one that you probably should get. But, yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Carolina's offense is kind of tough, though. A lot of people don't talk about them enough, in my opinion, their offense. But we'll see. I do also – go ahead.
I'm about to say one more couple. I'm going to say a couple more things. So, like I said, if Dwayne plays, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to cry about it. I think Dwayne can play well. The Seahawks defense, as well as it's played lately, it's not a good defense. It's not. They allow a lot of points. They don't sack the quarterback as well. Their best pass rush is their safety. That's a problem. I'm not worried about the Seahawks defense. I think Dwayne could play well against that defense. Now, if it turns to a shootout, can Dwayne win a shootout? Time will tell. I won't say a no. I won't say a yes, but I will lean toward no if I was picking one. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I do wish Dwayne well. If he does start, I hope he plays well. I think he will play well. The Seahawks defense is not good. Now, and then the next game after that, you said Carolina. Carolina's offense is decent, but they can't rush the passer. Dwayne gonna sit there all day and call his mom before he throw the ball. So I think if this is the perfect stretch for Dwayne, if Alex is not healthy, then Dwayne can show what he can do. So either way, I think we're gonna be fine. I think we'll win the NFC East either way. Because the Giants are trash, Eagles are trash. I don't care. They're done. Stick a fork in both of them. I'm sticking a fork in both of them. I don't care if Jalen Hurts or not. I don't care. We're gonna win this division. Simply put. Now I'm done.
We'll see. Tim, I know you're chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
I want Alex Smith in this lineup if we're going to go to the playoffs this year. But one game with Dwayne is not going to be the end of the world. I think he got benched because I know you were saying you weren't sure why you thought it was a bad decision. I think something happened behind the scenes that Dwayne's all over the social media. He's fully aware of what's being said about him.
IG, bro.
All right. Yep. And I think that he was hearing a lot of stuff from fans, and then he went into the coach, like the meeting room, and heard a lot of the same things coming out of the coaches and thought, you're thinking just like them. You want me to fail, blah, blah, blah. He may have not said these things, but his attitude portrayed that. And then something happened that ticked off Ron. It was like, you know what? You're third string now. Grow up, blah, blah, blah. We're moving on with the other quarterback. So I think something like that happened behind the scenes. But when he first came in, I thought I saw a much more humble Dwayne, a much more let's go to work Dwayne. I thought like there was a lot of good things. It does look like he grew up over this past few weeks. You also see him like coming after, to help Alex Smith up or help him with the team. He was there even with Alex Smith's injury. He's looking at the iPad or whatever you call it, the Surface Pro. Like he's involved, ready to play. So I did not want to draft him. I don't know if you don't know me, so I didn't want to draft him when we got him. But once we got him,
by the way, I mean interrupt, but me and you are in the same boat, my friend.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, but then we had him. I was like, I hope I'm wrong. Okay, so far I have not been wrong, but let's see what he can do on Sunday. And I'm hoping that it was just a precautionary thing with Alex. They heard it was the bad leg, and they're like, okay, go to the bench. Stop it. We're not messing with that leg. Stop. Go over there. So I'm hoping that's all it is. So when we come back on this Sunday, he's ready to go. But if he has to sit a week, we'll be all right.
Okay. If Dwayne plays well, throws a bunch of touchdowns, he needs to be a starter going forward.
That's fair too. That's a fair one too.
You gotta see what you have. Because here's the thing about it. Washington right now is not in position to get a guy like Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. May not be in position to get a guy like Zach Wilson. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I felt that, Dwayne was kind of, I wanted to see him play all 16. And I kind of agree with Tim because I think that, maybe Ron was saying, okay, he may not be all the way there, because Ron even said, Dwayne, he basically kind of said, yeah, we low-key screwed the guy, because he said Dwayne's not ready. He doesn't know the playbook as well as, Kyle Allen or Alex Smith, but something probably behind the scenes intangibly probably was saying, Ron probably saw, that he said Dwayne's not quite ready to steer the ship. That's kind of why I said earlier that while Alex Smith is not the most special quarterback, he's a guy that's going to be able to steer the ship with a young team. And this Washington team is full of a lot of young guys. You talk about Terry, you talk about Chase, you talk about Montez. All these guys are young, okay? They're not veteran players. There's not a whole lot of veteran leadership outside of the Ryan Kerrigans of the world and maybe the Kendall Fullers of the world on this team. And I think that it may have been a blessing in disguise to where the team kind of, is starting to really learn how to win. And maybe Dwayne was going to learn how to win with them as time went on. But, we'll see, man. Because the thing is, if you can't get a guy like Zach Wilson, you can't get a guy like Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, then who are you going to get? Mac Jones? So if Haskins plays well, I think Ron Rivera should play him the rest of the way. That's just my opinion. No, it's a hot take. I know people have given up on Haskins, but that's my opinion.
No, I mean, it's a big if, but if it happens, why not? My take, though, on the situation, like all you guys said, I'm fine with Haskins starting this week because I ultimately think that Alex Smith is going to be the quarterback after he gets healthy. I don't want him playing at the same health as he was playing last week, right? Like we saw Alex Smith missing a bunch of throws, more than he usually misses, and the calf definitely hampered him throughout the game, and hopefully we don't get that same performance against the Seahawks' poor defense this week. I think Haskins should do some good things against Seattle, although I'm not entirely confident in him absolutely blowing up or him having a very good game against the Seattle defense, even with them being Seattle. But again, get Alex Smith healthy, right, for this week.
Regardless of who the quarterback is, they just need to manage the game because the defense is playing really well. Honestly.
That's fair. The thing is, though, we're playing a Seattle offense that's high octane, so it's going to be hard for our defense to consistently contain them throughout the entire game without any offensive production, right? Like the last couple games, even the Steelers offense, right? They do have some weapons, but they're not high octane. They're not out of this world like the Seattle offense, like the Packers offense, like these sort of offenses in the NFL. So I think you need some offensive production this week against that Seattle Seahawks team, and hopefully Dwayne could get that for us and we get a win, but we'll see. It's a big if, but I do agree, Juice, if Haskins does go off, we should probably see what we got in him and let him start. But again, it's a big if. We haven't seen it up until this point. So far, Tim, Protech, and Chris Cooley have all been right about Dwayne Haskins not panning out here in DC. And I don't know, man. I don't know. We might be in the market for another quarterback once again here in DC.
I'll interject, Natty. I have one quick comment. Haskins has stretches of good play. He has stretches of good play. Don't get me wrong.
Big arm. He has a big arm.
He doesn't.
I don't think it's the question. I think that it's just a consistency.
He do it for a whole game. That's the question. And do it for a consistent, like not just for one game, but like a month. Like you have 2 games, he's solid. And even that Cleveland game, as bad as that Cleveland game was, if you check that tape, at one point he was 10 of 10 for 100 yards and touchdown, no picks. And then he just melted away. I don't know what the heck happened. And then the Ravens game, he's getting blown out, but he had a decent showing at the end of the game, I guess. But yeah, even the Eagles game, he looked okay at times. It wasn't that bad, but like I said, he has to play consistent for a whole game in a stretch of games. We have 3 games left. If Haskins is going to be the dude for the next week or 2, he has to play all these 2 games. Like simply put, if he doesn't, then he might be out in DC.
Yeah. I don't know. The writing's kind of on the wall. We'll see about the Seahawks. But
all I'm going to say is Josh Rosen was a 2nd and a 5th round pick worthy. Okay, Dwayne's got to be more than that. We got to be able to get more than that for Dwayne. Josh Rosen, 2nd round and a 5th round pick.
I don't think the Dolphins got that much.
Not mentioning the Dolphins, man.
Dwayne Haskins. I don't think you're getting a 2nd round pick for Haskins. I really don't.
Josh Rosen, 2nd and a 5th. And a 5th. It's crazy.
The Dolphins are retarded, bro. That before the big dogs came in. They got finesse, bro.
I like Brian Flores. Brian Flores is
that's before Brian Flores got there. You know what I'm saying? I think that was before.
That was his first offseason, I think.
Okay. The GM was trash. That's probably why.
Maybe it was the GM.
Speaking of the Dolphins, before we move on to the next question, I think Tim and I were laughing at the same thing. This chat has been lively tonight. I see the back and forth between the Dolphins fans,
fan in here.
Washington fans, Brittany Golfin, what's up?
Tua and overrated.
fan all day.
One dude in my
what
chat
was that,
said,
Jamal?
no amount of practice can help Haskins. He's trash. That's what made
I don't know about that, guys. let's hold off on that. I guess I'm in the same boat as Jamon on that one. Let's see what we got in here.
That's what I read that and I started geeking. So,
Hey, yo,
Yeah.
I saw the dead things
comment,
funny,
man.
bro. He said,
But-
"Hey, no, practice will help Dwayne. He's trash." That's tough.
that's
What
tough.
about
All right,
you
go ahead,
know,
Nadi. It's on you.
I was gonna hold off on this until the very end, but Tone brings up a good point. You know, I know Jamon said maybe we might be out of the market for Zach Wilson or out of the draft slot because of the fact that we are competing for this division and stuff. But do you think we should look for a young quarterback in the draft, or maybe? I mean, I think these rumors are absurd, but the Deshaun Watson stuff, the Matthew Stafford potential signing, do you think we should go after guys like that, veteran guys that could learn the playbook really quickly and ultimately, win games with this defense? Or do you think we should go after a young guy, go for the future? Because we all have young guys at this point, but what are you guys' thoughts on this situation and what we should do in the offseason? And we'll start with Jamon on this one.
I will say, look, I'm a big Haskins fan. I've said in the past, I think that he could become a top 10 quarterback one day, and I still am not selling my Dwayne Haskins stock. I still believe in the guy, but with that being said, I'm not on the coaching staff. And if the coaching staff truly does not believe in him, then you need to either trade him. You probably need to trade him away or just cut him, because it's no point in keeping him around if you don't believe in him. It's just no point.
Just cutting him outright, not getting any compensation.
I'm just saying. I think they'll probably trade him if they don't like him, or if they.
The market is going to be screaming for him on draft day. We will get a good haul for him. Not like a first rounder or nothing crazy like it, but we'll get a decent haul for him, just like Arizona got for Josh Rosen. When they already drafted the number 1 pick, knowing full well they didn't want him, Miami still sent 2 picks for him. We'll get something similar for Dwayne, if not even a little bit more.
But Tim, that's why the Seahawks game is so important, right? If Dwayne Haskins gets to start and he potentially goes off against the Seahawks defense, like that could be both a boost for Haskins, right, in terms of him getting a favorable situation here in DC and maybe being that future quarterback. Or if you look at it on our side, maybe we could trade him for some valuable picks because of his performance. I mean, you can look at it both ways.
I'll say this, as far as Dwayne goes, like I said, I'm a believer in him. I think that especially if he shows you something these next couple of weeks, then you need to keep him on the roster, or at least, let him compete next year, because I think that next year he'll probably be a lot more ready to come in day one and hit the ground running, because, you got to think about how the offseason went. It was
That's true.
whole crazy offseason. It was a pandemic, that pandemic's not going away, but, you would still have an offseason where you understand what you need to do based on, how things are going right now, things of that nature. And he'll be in his second year in the Scott Turner offense. So I think that really could help Haskins having another offseason to really know what he needs to work on and things like that. But at the same time, if you don't believe in him, you need to go out. You need to go out and get a quarterback, or so that's the thing. Someone says I'm eating Popeyes right now. That's funny. I love Popeyes, I do. But personally, I don't think you will get a whole lot back from Haskins because of this. I'll say this, because had Washington have not taken Haskins, and again, I was high on the guy, but I don't think NFL circles were as high on Dwayne Haskins as most people thought, because if he doesn't get picked by Washington, who's going to? I mean, Drew Lock fell to the second round. So I don't think NFL circles were as high on Dwayne Haskins. And you look at Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen started all the games for the Arizona Cardinals the year before that. He didn't get benched. The reputation about Haskins is, he's benched. Ooh, the coaching staff may not like him as much. Whereas you look at Rosen, they may say, man, the team around is bad. We may just need to, get him in our building and see what we have. And obviously Rosen, it turns out to be trash. But I just think that NFL circles were higher on Rosen, and Rosen had a better reputation at the time in which he was looking to be traded than one Dwayne Haskins. I think you can still get something for Dwayne. I do think there are teams out there that will take a look at him if he is not the guy. But at the same time, if you're thinking you can get like a second round pick for him or something like that, I think you're actually mistaken. So, Maybe you can get a Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson's good, but not great.
Mhm.
I'm not too sold on Trey Lance. Haven't watched him enough to really make a determination on him. But, if you think Zach Wilson.
I love Trey.
If you think Trey Lance and Zach Wilson can be better than Jimmy Garoppolo, then they're probably worth taking, because think about it. The 49ers, a couple of years, actually last year, they had an elite defense, and Jimmy was good, but he was a game manager at quarterback, and he could make the throws when it mattered most.
Yeah.
Say again?
Yeah.
Anyone
else? Go ahead, Tony.
I'll say what's up to King Sean in the comment section.
But
my take on the whole Haskins thing, Haskins is cooked. I'll say it now. I think Haskins is cooked. Turkey. Unless he shows something now. I think Haskins is on thin ice, like super thin ice. I mean, the ice so thin, he might bust his butt immediately in the ice.
That's how we got here in the DMV.
Because the fact that they benched him already, that kind of hurts. It hurts a ton. The fact that even though we're not in a position to draft the quarterback outright, you want a guy, you can go get your guy. It's no question. You can go get your guy. You want to go get somebody in the first round, you want somebody that bad, you call a team and trade up. I don't want to hear the whole, we be sending 19th pick, we can't go get a quarterback. The Chiefs moved up from 27 to 10 to take Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to hear that. You want a guy in this draft, Haskins is good as gone. You can book that now. But if he shows something, maybe you'll press the get out Dwayne Haskins button real quick. But I'm in the perfect fit for Haskins. If I'm Haskins, I want out of here. I'll be honest. If I'm Haskins, get me the heck out of here. I got benched. No, I'm getting ridiculed everywhere. I'm called trashkins in the media. All you
hometown too.
I'm trashkins. I want out of here. Send me to Pittsburgh. Let me sit behind Ben Roethlisberger for a year or two, and then let me emerge the court that I think I can be. If I'm Haskins, I want out of here. If I'm Washington, I'm like, he going thin ice, bro. Play bag in Seattle. Nice knowing you. So I've been the ice is so thin. I think Haskins is gone. I truly. I like Haskins too. Just like the juice. I like Haskins, but I think he's cooked here, bro. I truly think he's cooked. New coaching staff, they don't believe in him. They want their own guy in there. Stick him in the deep fry. He's done. Get him out of here.
Yeah. Tim, last thoughts on the quarterback situation before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I want to draft a guy. I love Trey Lance. He doesn't turn the ball over, yet has stats through the roof. I think he has the opportunity to be Russell Wilson 2.0. He's got about the same speed, similar size, can make all the throws, also has good speed. He has, 28 touchdowns, no interceptions last year, plus like another, I don't even remember how many rushing touchdowns he had with over 1,000 yards rushing, I believe. So I know he plays at North Dakota State, but that's okay. No turnovers to me is huge. But anyway, that's what I see in Trey Lance. But I definitely want to draft somebody, whether it's in the first round or later. I would like to keep Alex Smith for one more year since we're already paying a ton of money anyway, and grow the young quarterback when he does get here. And that's what I want to do. Dwayne, I feel for him in a lot of ways, but I don't want him here either. And let's move on from Haskins with a nice trade. And maybe that's where we get enough trade bait to move up to get our quarterback. Who knows?
Maybe. I do want to say, though, if I were the GM for the Washington football team, I would strongly consider not keeping Alex Smith next year because of the fact that you mentioned the money situation. If we actually released him, I believe we have $20 off the $20 million off the books. And that could go a long ways towards securing maybe another wide receiver that we need in free agency, or maybe if we're trying to go after a different veteran quarterback like Matt Stafford, who I know there are rumors out there from this week that maybe we're interested in. But in terms of my opinion, I'm a huge Zach Wilson fan. Tony knows this especially. I'm a huge Zach Wilson fan. If we're going to go after any quarterback in the draft, not named Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence, because we're going to have to get the number 1 or number 2 pick likely to get one of those two. I want Zach Wilson. I would trade up for him. We have a bunch of draft capital on top of the money that we have in free agency to spend. So I think we can go up in the draft no matter how late. Like, even if we win a first-round game, let's say we win a first-round game in the playoffs, even if we do that, we can still, like Tony said, like the Chiefs did, draft up and trade up and hopefully secure a pick that we can draft Zach Wilson with. But I want Zach Wilson. Dwayne Haskins, if he doesn't show up this week, if he doesn't show up next couple of weeks, I think his time here in DC is pretty much done, and we'll probably trade him in the offseason to.
Sign up by Alex Smith though. If you release Alex Smith next year, you save $14 million on the cap, and it's $8 million dead cap. Just as a quick sign note. Yeah.
And I was gonna say, Matthew Stafford's actually an intriguing, quarterback because he's got a big time arm, and I've been saying for a while. I think Matthew Stafford is arguably the most underrated quarterback in all of football. I think that he is a very good tier 2 quarterback. And listen, he's a quarterback that's more than a Jimmy Garoppolo. You look at what the 49ers did when they made their Super run. I'm sorry, if you haven't watched Matthew Stafford enough, he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. So if you can trade for a guy like Matthew Stafford, that's a good move because think about it. Because if you get a Zach Wilson or a Trey Lance, sure, they're talented. Sure, they have some upside, but are they going to be up to speed with this team right now? Because you look at this defense is already a top 5 unit probably already. They're rounding into that form. You've already got Terry who's ready to go. You got Antonio Gibson. You've got some good parts. This team very well could be looking to make a playoff push next year. You may not have time for one of these rookie quarterbacks or, I hate to say it, Dwayne Haskins to be up to speed. So, as long as you can get a guy to come in and contribute as fast as possible, that's good. But at the same time, you don't want to rush a rookie quarterback onto the field, like a Lance or a Wilson, because we saw with Dwayne Haskins, he left in versus the Giants, the first game of his career. That wasn't great. Was forced to play late in the season when he probably should have been sitting on the bench, learning more and more. So I think Ron Rivera will do the right thing, though. I think he'll do the right thing, though.
For sure.
Whatever he chooses to do, it probably is going to be the right move.
Yeah. We saw that in this offseason. We saw that in the draft. So hopefully things could continue. But I do want to get to one other issue with our team right now before diving into the matchup, and that is the running back situation. We all know Antonio Gibson has been out he's out last week and he was out for most of the Steelers week, and been dealing with a lingering toe turf injury. And it's tough because Antonio Gibson is a very talented back. He showed us a lot of promise this year. We have J.D. McKissick sort of stepping up into that running back 1 role, and we just signed Lamar Miller. I was wondering what are your guys' thoughts on the running back situation, and can we make do with the situation as is right now until Antonio Gibson comes back healthy, or do you even think Gibson will be healthy when he returns? And we'll start with Tony this time.
My thoughts on the running back position real quick. First off, shout out to Jay McKissick. He was stepping up very, very hugely for us and playing extremely well, catching the ball in the back, even running hard as well. I was surprised how hard Jay was running. We didn't see that early in the season, to be honest, but now I'm seeing him running hard, making hard cuts, breaking tackles, things like that. He's tougher than I thought he was. I'll give Jay McKissick a lot of credit for that. Shout out Lamar Miller. He's an insurance policy. Like you walked through the I completely agree with his video. Yesterday, he said he was just an insurance policy. That's exactly what he is. Lamar Miller's shot. If Lamar Miller was actually any good, he got touches in Chicago. He didn't. So I really think he's an insurance policy. He's a guy who's tough yardage back. That would be tough yardage, short yardage situations like Peyton Barber doing now. God forbid if he gets hurt, then that's when Lamar Miller will step in and be that guy. As for J.D. McKissick, as for Antonio Gibson, I think his year's done. I truly think turf toe is not a joke. I've had turf toe. It's disgusting. Hurts like hell. It's extremely painful. Takes about 3 weeks. He might be back for the Eagles game. That's your best bet. If he's going to come back this year, he's going to come back against the Eagles. I don't see him playing against, unless some kind of way, stem cell, something, I don't know, some crazy way that he heals for the Panthers game. I don't see him playing until week 17. That's my quick thoughts on that.
Okay. Tim?
I think that Peyton Barber and J.D. McKissick are just fine until we get Antonio Gibson back. Lamar Miller, I don't think we'll see the field very often at all. I don't even know if the Jordan Leak guy was our third back at the moment. So we needed a third guy, and Lamar Miller will be that third guy. But I think Antonio Gibson will just be fine for the playoffs, and we could definitely win without him. We've won the last 2 weeks without him. J.D. McKissick ran extremely well. I think he had like 6.2 yards per carry, 11 carries for 68 yards or something last week.
It's a stout defense too.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about that duo at all for the time being. And the running game, I think, will be the least of our worries coming up right now. We got to continue to not turn the ball over and throw the ball at an efficient rate. And Alex Smith can do that. I hope that Dwayne Haskins can come in and do that too.
Yeah, hopefully. Dude, what are your thoughts?
I'm kind of with Tim on this one. I think that Peyton Barber and J.D. McKissic are good enough. Losing Gibson definitely is a hit to the team, though. You know, he was really, starting to really come into his own. When he was coming out of Memphis, I felt that he had a lot of potential, but at the same time, I felt that he might be not coming out the gate strong just because he didn't play a whole lot of actual running back at college. He mostly was a wide receiver and things of that nature. He has the ability to run in between the tackles, and you've seen it, in the Cowboys game. He played really well. So, I don't think it's a huge blow, but at the same time, this offense is already struggling, and Antonio Gibson, to me, is by far the best running back on the team. Yeah. So just due to the fact that he's not on the team right now, well, he's on the team, obviously, but just due to the fact that he's, having a lingering injury, that definitely is something to look out for, especially because, if he rushes himself back, that could be devastating as well because he may not be 100%. And then, well, if he's not 100%, then that's not good. But at the same time, I do think that Peyton Barber should be getting the bulk of the carries, because he's more of your traditional actual running back. J.D. McKissic's good, but I think that he's more better suited to be in the passing game, use him in the screen game, get him out wide, run some wheel routes with him. So, yeah, I think that Peyton Barber, if you're going to, start a running back, I would probably get him a lot of carries in the red zone and get him going early. And J.D. McKissic, he can continue to do what he's doing right now, which is catch passes out of the backfield and occasionally get your, extra couple of yards in between the tackles running as well.
Yeah. I think last week was the big test. We played against a pretty stout 49ers defensive line, and even with all their injuries, they are still very stout, and our running backs did work against them. Tim mentioned it. J.D. McKissic was averaging almost 7 yards per carry, and, he didn't give you the immense yardage that you want out of a running back, but he didn't need to, right? The running backs kept moving the chains, kept getting first downs, and that's all you want in this offense, right? We need first downs. I'm tired of going 3 and out every single drive, and, whether it's Alex Smith or Dwayne Haskins, or even Kyle Allen a little bit, like that always seemed to be the case with this offense. So I think we should be good with our running back situation, but I do agree, Juice, like Tony Gibson not being on this team or not starting for us is a big loss. We've seen that over the last couple of weeks. We just missed that dynamic playmaker. And, I, from the very beginning, have sort of compared Antonio Gibson to like an Alvin Kamara type back in the sense that in college, he didn't get many reps, was drafted in the late 3rd round, is a great pass catcher, can run between the tackles, but is an all-around great running back in today's NFL. And, it sucks that we don't have him, but I think we should be doing well besides, his injury. And I think we'll be good. I do worry, though, because we've seen our last couple of weeks with Antonio Gibson going down, we've seen Terry McLaurin's production also go down. So I know someone mentioned it in the chat. I can't see the message now, but, maybe because the defenses are focusing in on Antonio Gibson, or they were focusing in on him, Terry McLaurin was able to get some more space down the field, and now all the attention was on him, and he was able to produce that good yardage that we saw earlier in the season. So that's a little worrisome, although I do think Terry is going to bounce back regardless of the running back situation because we're playing the Seattle defense. But moving on, speaking of Seattle, we're going to talk about the matchup finally. And first and foremost, I want to ask you guys, do you think the Washington defense will be able to contain Russell Wilson, be able to contain all the Seahawks weapons right now, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett? I know he's slumping right now, but he's still Tyler Lockett. And you got Chris Carson as well. Do you think Washington will be able to contain any of those guys, all those guys, some of those guys? What are your guys' thoughts? And we'll start with Juice.
Yes, I do think it's possible, but it's going to take a lot of hard work, because, as good as the defense played versus the 49ers, Nick Mullins was awful. He was bad. Like, he's a backup quarterback for a reason. And Washington kind of just feasted on, his bad play. And again, a lot of credit to Washington because, the defense played phenomenal. They really picked up the offense because the offense virtually did really nothing outside of a couple good Dwayne Haskins throws, a couple of good J.D. McKissic runs. The offense really wasn't doing much at all. They didn't score a touchdown. Chase Young showed up, Sweat, Payne. Yeah, Cameron Curl. Yeah, Cameron Curl, he's a steal. So, look, this Washington defense is really starting to hit its peak. And I do think this team is starting to get more confident, But at the same time, I do think the Seattle Seahawks present a challenge to Washington just because they have really good wide receivers. And I think what Washington needs to do is they need to just try to get home with 4 guys because you probably will be able to get Russell Wilson off his spot, blitzing 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 guys. But ideally, if you're Washington, I would honestly sit back and make him be patient and just try to keep him inside the pocket. Don't let him try to escape outside the pocket. And I think that Washington's defensive front is good enough to go out there and, say, hey, we got 4 guys, we can win. Because Seattle's offensive line is improved from last year, but it's not an elite offensive line. It definitely can be had. I mean, you saw the New York Giants, their defense played extremely well versus Seattle. And I think that Washington's defense is playing just as good, if not better, than the Giants' defense right now. So the key for me is, pretty much just drop 7 people into coverage, try to get home with 4, but at the same time, you don't want to do that the whole game. Jack Del Rio's got to mix up a couple of different looks, maybe bring in some zone coverage, mix in some man as well, because you can't just keep doing the same thing versus Russell Wilson. The guy's an elite quarterback right now. He'll eventually figure you out. So as long as Washington can get home with 4 guys consistently, as long as they can, mix some things up, and things of that nature, and the offense doesn't put the defense in bad spots, I think you realistically could hold Seattle to maybe like anywhere from 17 to 23 points. I don't think Seattle's getting over 30 in this game unless the offense puts them in a bad spot. I do think Seattle will really probably struggle throughout most of this game. It's going to be a tough game for them to win because Washington does match up very well with them. So I think it'll be a close game right now. I think that Washington definitely has a puncher's chance as long as their defensive line can get home.
No. Tim?
Yeah, we're going to need to score a touchdown on offense to beat this team. We're not going to beat this team with 3 field goals on offense.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to need to score. But defensively, I think the bigger worry to me right now is the wild card of Chris Carson. What is he going to provide for the Seattle's offense running the football? That could get really interesting. But DK, obviously, we know what he can do. Tyler Lockett's amazing. So he's got weapons over there, but the offensive line is definitely suspect. That's how the Giants beat them. They were all over Russell Wilson all day, which bodes well for us because we have a great defensive line as well. We definitely have a chance to beat this team. As I said, I liked our chances against Seattle more than I did San Francisco. I thought San Francisco lined up with us better than Seattle does. So we definitely have a shot. Now, the Seahawks should definitely be favored. I'm not saying we should be the favorite to win this game by any means, but we have a legitimate chance, like maybe a 35% chance of winning this game. And that's how I feel.
Okay. Protech.
Man, I'm going to say this once and once only. The Giants limit them to 12 points with no elite pass rush. I'm going to repeat that one more time. They limit them to 12 points at home. It was in Seattle at home with no elite pass rusher. Is Leonard Williams an elite pass rusher? No.
Yeah.
Is any of the defensive linemen an elite pass rusher?
They have one guy, actually.
They schemed it up.
They have good runs.
They can scheme it up. They can scheme it up. Why can't we? We have elite pass rushers. In my opinion, I think Chase Young's elite. I don't care. For rookie, I don't care. It's elite. Montez Sweat is borderline an elite pass rusher.
No, not borderline. Not borderline. I'm at that point right now.
In our circles, he's elite to us, but around league circles, like, Montez is good, but he's not elite. To us, he is. I'm just saying in league circles, he's getting there, but not there. But to me, he's there. So I truly think we're gonna harass Russell Wilson all day long. They might not get 12 points. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Wow. Okay.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
I truly think the most they're gonna score is 20. That's the most they're gonna score. I truly think it's gonna be a 2017 game, 23-20. I don't see a lot of points being scored. I think we're gonna harass Russell Wilson all day long. If the Giants schemed it up, why can't we? Yeah, better defensive line than the Giants do. Giants got better linebackers. I'll give you that. But the secondary is comparable. I don't think James Bradbury is better than Kendall Fuller. I think Kendall Fuller can man up with Lockett or with DK. I think DK is going to be a problem. And Tim had a good point. Chris Carson run the football. We had not been the best at stopping the run. Yeah. Now, if they can run the ball, we are in some deep trouble. They go play action fake, and then all hell breaks loose. But we can make them one-dimensional and get to, and I ain't get to Russell. If you can bat balls down, he's 5'10". Okay? You can bat balls down. You don't got to get to him all the time. You can bat the ball down and force incompletions. Let's go have a long day. I don't think he scored more than 20 points. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, no, that last point that you mentioned about Chris Carson, I think that's a huge point. And Tim also mentioned this as well. That's a huge point that I don't think is getting talked about enough. Like, our biggest bugaboo on defense is actually stopping the run, which is surprising, right? Because the last couple of years we've been good at stopping the run, just been terrible at stopping the pass. But this year our pass defense has been really solid. But our rush defense is still solid. But since Matt Ioannidis, I think we have all seen a difference, right? In us being able to stop the run, him going down week 1. But I do want to say, though, I want to ask you guys a question. When's the last time this season that we played a top echelon like offense?
The Rams.
Remember? Exactly. Do you know what happened when we played against the Rams? Do you guys remember?
Destroyed.
So
it was a monsoon raining. Alex Smith first game. Alex Smith came in after Kyle Allen's injury. He was playing in a monsoon, and he hadn't played in 2 years. That's why we went over in that second half.
I understand that. That's fair. But
I want to see the Rams offense elite, though. I think the last time we played an elite offense, to me, either be Arizona or Baltimore. But the Rams offense is good.
Ravens offense not looking too hot this year.
I'm talking at that time. At that juncture of the season. I'm not talking right now. So at that time, they were scoring a bunch of points on everybody at that time.
I will say, I think the Rams are a bad matchup for Washington specifically because they have 2 really good corners. Specifically, Taylor Ramsey's really good. You know, you can just put him on Terry McLaurin. Terry will make his plays, but Ramsey can at least slow him down. Then you got Aaron Donald getting after the passer. You know, I just think that the Rams were a bad matchup for Washington. I think Seattle is actually a more favorable matchup because their defense has been inconsistent all year.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I forget who mentioned it earlier. You know, the Jamal Adams is arguably their best pass. We said it. Jamal Adams he leads them in sacks, and Carlos Dunlap, he's been good, but he's hit and miss. So I think Washington definitely can move the ball on Seattle, you know, but only time will tell.
Yeah, 8.5 sacks. That's crazy out of safety position. But I wanted you guys to specifically bring up the Rams, less so because their defense, because I understand like Alex Smith was put in a tough situation and the Rams defense is top notch. But I only asked that question because of the fact that, you know, our defense, we all know it's very, very good, but it's susceptible definitely to high octane offenses. And the last time we played against a very good offense in this league, it was the Rams, and our defense didn't really show up, right? Even before that monsoon, we didn't really play too well. Kendall Fuller didn't have the greatest of games. Our entire secondary didn't have the greatest of games. And, you know, I'm a little worried this week that we could have sort of the same game. I know it's different, right? You can't, like, for example, a lot of people bring up the fact that we lost to the Giants twice, right? It's a whole different team at this point with the Washington football team. Our defensive line is like none other right now. Our entire defense is. Our offense is, you know, okay, but I wanted to bring up that fact because our defense, again, I've been mentioning this all season, while it is very good against some of the weaker offenses in this league, I want to see it go up against one of the top offenses and completely shut them down or at least contain them. And this week is a big test. I think Russell Wilson, I mean, Nathan brought this up in the comments. He does pose a unique challenge, at least to us, in the fact that he is very slippery. We haven't had too much success against even half mobile quarterbacks, right? With Daniel Jones.
Destroyed.
Yeah, even Kyler Murray earlier in the season, but even guys like Daniel Jones, who are not the most mobile, still haven't played too well against them. So
yeah, let him run a 50-something yard play,
so
dusting Landon Collins down the sideline, gaining space. Not only was he outrunning Landon Collins.
Yeah, I really want the entire defense.
It's ridiculous, man. But so I mean, it's gonna be a tough test to contain Russell Wilson. And you also got DK Metcalf, who's absolutely balling this year. I believe he's second receiving yards at this point in the entire NFL. He's just coming along in his second year like an amazing receiver. And, I mean, that's going to be a tough test. Kendall Fuller hasn't had the greatest of weeks the last couple of weeks. I know we all love him, the hometown kid as well, but he hasn't had the greatest of weeks, hasn't been too good in coverage. And, I mean, it's going to be tough, right? You also got Tyler Lockett. Again, I mentioned this earlier. I know a lot about him because I have him in fantasy. He's been slumping the last couple of weeks, but Just seems like all these talented receivers, when they play against our defense, just some way, somehow show up and really give you good production. So we'll see. I think, though, the biggest test will be Chris Carson and Russell Wilson. If we could sort of contain Russell Wilson, right, maybe allow him to get on some scrambles, but maybe not allow him to throw too much through the air. And then Chris Carson, just do what we've done the last couple of weeks and contain running backs. I think we have a good chance. But before getting into our actual like score predictions for the game, I do want to mention or ask about one other thing. Do you guys think our offense itself will be able to score enough points against this weak Seahawks pass defense? Do you think it'll be able to generate enough production where we stay in the game, even if the Seahawks do end up, scoring a couple touchdowns on us? What are your guys' thoughts on the offense? And we'll start with Juice this time.
Yeah, I think the offense can definitely move the ball. I'm not going to say the offense is going to go out there and score like 30 points automatically because that's only happened like probably – has that happened this year? One time maybe?
Wait, the offense for us? We beat Cowboys back.
Yeah.
41.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Defense scored a lot of points, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see us scoring anywhere from 20 to 25 points. I think that's kind of actually what you would kind of hope for. If the offense can give you 20 to 25 points in this game versus Seattle, with the way the defense is playing, I think that Ron Rivera and the coaching staff will actually take that. So, I think that Seattle, their pass rush is kind of hit and miss. Their secondary has not played particularly well this year. Terry McLaurin definitely has a chance to really have a great game as long as, Dwayne Haskins or Alex Smith can hit him, in stride. And I think that Cam Sims is playing a lot better. He's playing a lot better. Hopefully Steven Sims can hold on to the football. I mean, he gets open sometimes, but sometimes he'll drop the football. But you never know. Logan Thomas, he's playing a lot better. He was kind of inconsistent earlier in the year, but I think that Logan Thomas is playing a lot better the last couple of weeks. That's an interesting matchup, though, because Jamal Adams probably will be, lined up on him. I think Jamal Adams probably definitely is favored in that matchup, most definitely. Nothing against Logan Thomas, but Jamal Adams is an elite safety, okay? So I do think this team has a chance to move the football and score anywhere from 20 to 25 points because I think this offense is starting to get a lot better. And they just had their worst performance of the season, arguably, versus the 49ers. They're bound to get better. You see what Ron Rivera each week. This team continues to improve. They continue to get better. They continue to, improve in the areas in which they need to improve each week, it seems like. And I think that, this team will score anywhere from 20 to 25 points. I think this game will probably be anywhere from like 20 to 24, 20 to 27, 20 to 23, something like that.
Okay. Tony?
Can our offense score enough points be Seattle? Tough question. I think we can. Because I think that defense is going to maybe force a couple turnovers and we'll have short fields. If you talk about just us going 75 yards every drive, maybe. It's a coin flip at this. Way played against 49ers last week. It's a coin flip. It really depends who's starting the quarterback. If it's Alex and Alex is healthy, I have no doubt. But if it's Dwayne, I think he can, but he hasn't proven it consistently. So, I agree with Juice. 20, 23 points probably win this game. It's going to be a lot lower scoring game. People think. Everyone thinks Seattle can come in and score 30. It's not happening. That's dead. I really think we're going to really, really put the clamps down on Seattle's offense. If the Giants can do it, why can't we? They did it in Seattle. They're coming here. I don't think they're going to come in here and just score 30. They're going to come in our house and just light us up like a Christmas tree. Not happening. So, I think we're scoring enough points on offense to win. It's going to take the defense force on turnover too and have a short field.
Okay. Tim?
Yeah, I think Terry's going to have to show up for this game, especially if Dwayne's here. He's going to have to make some plays, get open for Dwayne. Even when he got open, he overthrew him by 10 yards or something like that. But, I think Terry's going to have to show up in a run game. A run game needs to show up. J.D. McKissick has to continue to do what he's doing, and Peyton Barber come in and get the short yardage stuff that he does, clean up. You guys brought up the matchup with Jamal Adams. I don't like that matchup at all for Logan. But, and then Cam Sims. Cam Sims is our other wild card that if he could do anything, 6'5", he had that nice one-handed catch against Pittsburgh. I mean, that's a big-bodied frame that, if you throw it up to him, there's always a chance there. So I don't really want to rely on Steve Sims. I don't think he should be on the field very often at all. You have Isaiah Wright to be your third receiver. Like, you have other options besides him. Even is Inman back yet? I don't even remember now. And
I think
then,
So he played last game.
Inman's back in. I think he is too. So there's at least
He's
4
been a
options.
healthy scratch lately, actually. It's like he ain't been getting many snaps. It's like he been a healthy scratch, to be honest.
I thought
I
he was
got you.
playing. I thought he played for a couple snaps last week.
I think I saw him too. That's why I thought of his name. But there's 4 options before I want to see Steve Sims on the field, especially on third down situations. So yeah, let's keep him majority. Like, just he's a good punt returner, and he's actually not even our kick returner this year. I think he's only a punt return.
Yeah,
Because he
But our offense can do just fine to beat the Seahawks team, and our defense needs to show up again. But our offense can do it, but it's not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah.
I got one suggestion real quick. It's
go
gonna take 5 seconds. We play a former Washington football team player this week. And I think we need to light him up. Mr. Quentin Dunbar.
Yeah.
You think T-Mac's gonna give him 10 catches, $150 in a tub?
Depends on who's quarterback.
I'll get Terry producer. I don't care who the quarterback is. I'm gonna get 10, $150 in a tub. It's time to teach Quentin Dunbar a lesson. But I'm done.
Quentin Dunbar cannot guard Terry McLaurin. Not happening. Like that's dead, as they say. Yeah, that ain't happening.
I do want to mention again, like all the people in chat: Nathan, Corey on the Warpath, Tone, Fins Up. I know I see the Debbie Downer comments about like what I said earlier, guys. I haven't gotten to my score prediction yet, so I think you guys will like my score prediction. But before getting there, I do want to say I do think the offense will be able to score points on this defense, even if we do have Dwayne Haskins at the quarterback position. I just think J.D. McKissic will be very much involved in this game. Peyton Barber, like Tim said, will be in on the short yardage plays. And Terry McLaurin, man. Terry McLaurin, the last 2 weeks, again, he's been slumping. I think I have confidence that he'll bounce back somewhat this week. I don't think he's going to go off like Tony wants him to. The 150 yards, eight catches for a touchdown. I don't think he's going to do that this week. But I think he could give you somewhere between 80 to 90 yards, maybe like 6-7 catches, maybe less so a touchdown because Seattle is going to hone in on him on defense. But I think J.D. McKissic, Terry McLaurin, I think we'll be able to score some points on the team. And with that being said, I want guys, I know you guys sort of touched on this, but I want your final game prediction for the game. And do you think Washington will pull it out? We'll start with Tim.
Final score prediction. All right, for my man Chris, it's probably going to be something like 63-4. I think Washington just walks away with it. No, I think if we win, it's going to be something along the lines of 23-20. It's going to be a close game. Definitely field goals are in our future, so we're not going to have 21 or 28 or something like. We're definitely going to make some field goals. So it's going to be something like 3 field goals, which would put us around 23 points if we get 2 touchdowns. And defense should do enough to win. So I like the range of 23-20.
Okay. Tony?
Oh, man. I don't score prediction. It's tough. Like I said, we all want to see our defense. We shut down this GL offense. That's it. You're not scoring on 20 points. Not happening. 2017 Washington. I got a little extra spice on a Dustin Hopkins game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Dustin Hopkins 50 yards out is good. Get Seattle out of here.
50? Oh my God! You're trying to freak me out.
I don't know.
Don't make it Dustin Hopkins.
Yeah.
Let's make it like a 28-yard field goal. 28-yard game-winning field goal, and I'd still be sweating it.
I mean, you got to give him credit though. He's been making some clutch kicks the last couple of weeks. Gotta give him credit there. You know, I know he misses every now and then, but he hasn't looked too bad, right?
You got game winner, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I really want to pick Washington. I think if Washington wins, the score will probably be around, I'd say like probably 23-21. I think that would be probably about the score if they win. But if I were to be really realistic, I think that Seattle probably pulls it out, unfortunately. I do think the Carolina game is one that they will win, Washington. So don't get too mad at me, people. But I think that it'll probably be about 26-24 Seahawks.
Okay.
I think they're the better team, unfortunately.
That's fair. I do want to say something.
Protech just got serious. He was all smiling until he heard that prediction. He's like,
I mean, I can see where you're going with it. The Seattle Seahawks are better. I won't admit that. I'm picking them on my heart and my head, but
I hope I'm wrong. I hope Washington wins. I really do.
We're a 35% chance. I think we should be around a 35% chance of winning this game. 65-35.
FBI should about 35%. But the Steelers were a better team than us too, and we beat them. So
they only gave us a 26% chance on that on ESPN.
I'm just
I did pick them to beat up Pittsburgh though. That was a W for me.
Okay.
I ain't picking, so I'll give you that one, Juice.
Yeah. I do want to say before getting to my pick, Fins Up, I appreciate it again, like making this chat very lively tonight. This take has to be no. I'm sorry. That's just a big no on this take. Miami being better. I don't know about that. But having said that, my prediction, like I said, I think a lot of people in this chat will actually be happy about it, unlike in previous weeks where I predicted us to lose. This week, though, I'll add the caveat. If Alex Smith starts, I think Washington will win 23-20 against the Seattle Seahawks. If Dwayne Haskins starts, I think Washington will lose 20-17 against the Seattle Seahawks. So that's my prediction for the game. I know it's two different predictions, but we don't really know the quarterback situation right now. I think Alex Smith is trending towards playing. They're giving him some rest now, and Ron Rivera seems like, he wants to start him on Sunday. So we'll see, but if Dwayne Haskins starts, Dwayne Haskins, I think he will give you some solid production. I think he'll give you sort of an Alex Smith type game, but I don't know. I think Jamal Adams will be ferocious on the field, and I think if Haskins is quarterback, I think he'll be chomping at the bit, trying to sack him a couple times, trying to intercept him potentially. But I don't think he's going to be bad by any means. I know, Juice, you're a big Dwayne Haskins fan, but I don't think he's going to be bad.
I believe in Haskins. I do.
All right.
Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, and Chase Young need to get up there and swat away short Russell Wilson's passes. All right?
Yes.
Get in there and swat it away.
Yeah.
I want to see big mitts up there and swatting them.
Get that weak stuff out.
Yeah. Moving on, though, a little bit from the game itself. Someone mentioned this or someone asked about this earlier, but what are you guys' thoughts on how the rest of the season will play out for the Washington football team? Do you think we'll go on a 7-game winning streak and maybe win our next 3 games? Do you think we'll lose against Seattle, win the last 2 games? And then, if we do make the playoffs, do you think we have a shot? Do you think we have a shot to make some noise, surprise some people as we've been doing all season long? What are you guys' thoughts on the future, the immediate future of the Washington football team? And we'll start with Tony this time.
So you ask me, can we win out? Or do I think we're going to win out? And if we get to the playoffs, what will happen?
Mm-hmm.
But first off, I do think we'll go 2-1 the last 3 games, get the 8-8. Do make the postseason, win the NFC East by at least a game. I do think, like I said, we'll beat Seattle and probably clinch, because I think every other team in the division is going to lose. We're going to clinch the NFC's title probably this week or next week. And we'll probably rest our stars in week 17 and lose to the Eagles probably week 17. Get the 2-1 on the last 3 games, get the 8-8, get in the postseason. And it depends on the matchup. I think we're one of those teams that we need the right matchup. If it's Tampa, I'm not scared. I think we're going to whoop Tampa like they stole something. If it's LA, but if it's Tampa, yeah, we're going to whoop them. That's my opinion. I think we're 8-8. We're going to whoop Tampa, get to a divisional playoff game, and that's probably our ceiling.
Okay. Juice?
I think the division will come down to week 17. I do think that whoever is starting the rest of the way, whether it be Dwayne Haskins or Alex Smith, they'll give the team a chance to win. I do think Dwayne will be prepared. I think Alex Smith, his production has kind of spoke for itself. He's going to do what he needs to do to win games. He's not going to do a whole lot of, things, as far as being a top 10 quarterback or anything like that. But he'll make the right plays. He'll make the right reads. This team is relatively healthy coming down the stretch. Obviously, Antonio Gibson, being hindered is a big hit. But I think the division comes down to week 17. I really want to pick Washington to win the division just automatically, but them Philadelphia Eagles they're coming, man. I'm sorry. I don't know. It seems like they always catch fire late in the season. It's a tough game for them this week versus Arizona. So that's going to be definitely a big test. But I do believe they get the Cowboys the week after that. They'll probably beat the Cowboys. Jalen Hurts definitely has been an upgrade over Carson Wentz, at least this year. I think he's definitely provided a spark for the team. And I think that the division is going to come down to week 17, But if Washington can win this week, then I really give them a huge chance to win the division, because I think Ron Rivera is going to do everything in his power to try to beat the Carolina Panthers, because that's his old team. It's a winnable game. It's at home. And Carolina, they're a good up-and-coming team, but I think Washington is better. So if Washington can win this week, they're really in the driver's seat. They really are. Now, it could be a situation where they get a big win versus Seattle and they disappoint versus Carolina. We don't know. So I'm just going to say the division will come down to week 17. I think that Philadelphia is not done yet. I don't think Philadelphia is anything special, but I just think that right now they have some momentum. And Jalen Hurts, he beat a really good Saints team. The Saints are no joke. He just beat them. So, again, if Washington can go 2-1 over these next couple of games, the division is theirs. It really is. But if they can't, then it's been a good season so far up to this point. It really has, So I think the season is a success whether they make the playoffs or not. The team already has doubled their win total. Yep. If Washington gets into the playoffs, unfortunately, I don't think they don't have a lot of hope, just because it's one thing to get into the playoffs. It's a whole other animal to beat the Tom Brady's of the world, to beat the Aaron Rodgers of the world, to beat the Jared Goffs of the world, who's been to a Super Bowl. This team is very young. And while you may have Alex Smith playing or you may have Dwayne Haskins playing, regardless, I don't think anyone's knocking your socks off this year right now. Maybe they catch fire over the next couple of weeks, but I don't quite see it. I just think that this team next year is where you really should be thinking about playoffs. This year, if you make the playoffs, you're ahead of schedule. If you don't, hey, this season's already a success. So that's how I feel.
Hey, Juice, I have a quick question for you real quick.
What's up, man? I appreciate you calling me fan. Yep.
If we run to Tampa, you think we can't beat Tampa? I think we can beat Tampa.
It's a winnable game, but at the same time, I worry about Washington's offense versus Tampa's defense.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because one thing about Tom Brady is this.
I think we're a better defense than our defense.
Tom Brady might not move the ball in some of these situations versus some of these better defenses, but he's not going to make a whole bunch of mistakes. He's going to make you beat him. And I think Tampa, they do have some good wide receivers. That can really challenge Washington's secondary. So, I don't know. I just think that Tampa, they have a little bit more experience. They're probably more ready to win right now.
Ready to show that pass rush now. I think we got a shot to beat Tampa. But that was just my opinion.
I'm not saying Washington has no shot. I'm just saying I wouldn't pick them.
See, Tampa, though, they got a great offense. They got the GOAT at quarterback, and then they also have a great defense. So it's not a very good matchup.
The GOAT's not the same, though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But, he still has that leadership, that winning acumen that he's developed over the years. So,
I will say Tampa would be one of the more favorable matchups. It really would. It would actually be a favorable matchup. Because they don't like – Tom Brady he does not like to get hit. He does not like to get hit.
That's fair. We've seen that, a couple Super Bowls as well. Whenever you have a really good pass rush, the Eagles, the Giants, it does seem to falter. So, definitely agree there. Yep. Yeah. Tim?
So the rest of the season, I said that we needed to win 3 games right before the Pittsburgh game. So all we need, in my opinion, is win one more, and that'll put us at 7-9. I think that clinches the playoffs here. I think the Eagles, they played well against the Saints, but I think it was more of a surprise factor of the Saints didn't really know how to handle Jalen Hurts, and he ended up getting a 100-yard rushing game. He didn't throw the ball particularly fantastic. I think it was 17 for 30, 160 yards or something like that.
Can't forget about Miles Sanders too.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is a really good running back, no doubt. And he had 115 himself, or 120 rushing yards themselves, or something like that. Yeah. So I don't think they're going to come back and they beat the Cardinals, and that would eliminate them if we win one more. So I think if we win one more, we're good. If we win 2, we're absolutely golden. I don't believe in the Giants either. I think they have the Browns and the Ravens coming up before the Cowboys the last week of the season. So we just got to win one more. And especially if that one more is over the Eagles, then I feel really good about it. Yeah. But we have a chance in every game. I gave us a 10 to 15% chance to beat Pittsburgh. and we came out and we beat Pittsburgh. So that's an 11-0 team right there. I know they were a little banged up, but you don't know what the health of the teams that we're going to be playing in the playoffs will be. The one team I don't want to see in that wild card situation, I don't want to see the Rams. I would rather see the Seahawks or Tampa Bay in that they would have the 5 seed at that point. So I'd rather see one of those two in the 5 seed. And, we could win any single game. We should be underdogs in every game in the playoffs. That's a fact. We're not one of the best teams in the playoffs, but who knows when we get there? Who knows what they got? So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this team can do. I had both of these last 2 games as losses, and they upset both teams. So there you go. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I emphatically agree with Tim. I think we have a chance of winning these next 3 games. Obviously, the Seahawks game is going to be the most difficult, but I think, we can contain a little bit that Seahawks offense and more so do some good work against the Seahawks defense. So we'll see about this week, but even moving after that one, got the Panthers, got the Eagles. Eagles should be a tougher test now with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, but I think we could beat the Panthers even with them having a pretty underrated offense, in my opinion. And I think we could also beat the Eagles. So like you said, 7 wins should be good, but 8 wins is probably what's going to seal it in this division. I think if we win this week, we are very much
8 eliminates Philly because the most they can get is 7. And then the Giants, if they lose both to the Browns and the Ravens, then 8 would crush them. So
yeah,
we're good.
And you also can't forget about Daniel Jones, right? He's just not healthy at this point. Like, he just keeps getting injured. Even if he starts, he will be injured. And our defensive line should feast against some of the quarterbacks we have up next. Hopefully Russell Wilson, we contain him a bit, but even beyond that, Teddy Bridgewater, Jalen Hurts, right, a rookie who would have his 3rd or 4th start at that point. So we shall see. But I think even in the playoffs, though, guys, like, again, it depends on the matchup. If we do face the Rams, like Tim said, I think that's a very, very bad matchup for us. We saw what happened earlier in the season, and I get that we're a totally different team at this point, right? Our defense is just absolutely bonkers right now. Even Alex Smith has brought some stability to the offense, and something that's giving me hope is that Antonio Gibson will likely be back at that point if we do end up making the playoffs. So we should still have a chance against the Rams and those sort of teams, but it's going to be tough. I think the best matchup would actually be against the Seahawks because of the fact that they don't have a really good defense, and Alex Smith should probably be healthy at that point, and Tony Gibson again. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts. Last question of the stream. I like how we're going in sort of like chronological order with the matchup this week, then the rest of the season. And now, what are you guys' thoughts on, I believe it was Dominique Foxworth from ESPN who talked about how next year our Super Bowl window, Washington Football's team's Super Bowl window actually opens up next year. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think there's some truth to that we could be really good starting next year?
Now.
Or now? I mean, what are you guys' thoughts? We'll start with Juice on this one.
It's possible. I mean, you look at some of the teams they're going to have to beat, to potentially get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, Green Bay, they're really good. Seattle, they're really good. The Rams, they're really good. What's the other division? That's it, I think. Yeah. I mean, the NFC East. I think that next year the Washington could be among the favorites to win the NFC East. Hello, Andrew. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think that Washington, in order to be a Super Bowl contender, they need to go out and make some moves because while this team is very good, it's better than last year. Yeah. I think this team is playing above some of the talent that's on the roster right now. I think that a lot of the wins that we've gotten have been due to coaching. I think that we need to really upgrade the offense because we can talk about the defense playing well and all that stuff, but we need to help out Alex Smith or Dwayne Haskins or whoever's at quarterback by getting them more weapons and maybe improving the offensive line. So, in my opinion, I think if they have a strong draft, I think that if they improve the offensive line, potentially the offensive line is getting better. It's not terrible anymore. But I just think that it's one of those things where if I'm a Washington fan, I really want that line to be just fixed. Like, just fix it. It's hard to fix it in one off season, but really get that upgrade, especially, if Dwayne's the guy going forward because he's more of a pocket passer. So I think it's definitely possible next year. You're going to have to beat the teams, like I said, that are Arizona, Green Bay, Seattle, the Rams. There's a lot of good teams out there. But I think Washington definitely has the blueprint to go forward and become a Super Bowl contender, sort of similar to the 49ers. I made a video in the offseason about that where I said, the defensive line has just as much talent as that 49ers defensive line had. And as long as you can get good quarterback production from whoever, whether it be Alex, Dwayne, or a drafted quarterback, that's fine. I don't think next year is a year where Washington probably is going to be a Super Bowl contender, but I do believe that they'll probably be a playoff team potentially next year, depending on what they do. It's definitely possible, And listen, the window to start winning is kind of right now because you only got Chase Young on a rookie contract for so long. That guy's going to get paid a lot of money. Same with Terry McLaurin and
all these guys.
You have to pay a lot of these guys. So it's imperative that over the next 3 to 4 seasons that Washington really capitalizes on that Super Bowl window. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Protech?
My opinion on that, I think next year definitely the Super Bowl window does open immediately. I think the way you'll do it is you get Alex off the books, don't press Alex Smith, but his pay doesn't match the production. That's just my opinion on that. Get a young guy like Zach Wilson in here. It's all these teams that win Super Bowls besides the Patriots. They're the enigma, the exception of it. Mm-hmm. They're on a rookie contract. Look at the Seattle Seahawks in 2012. They had Russell Wilson on a rookie contract. You got all these other teams that won Super Bowls. They had it. The Eagles. They had a backup quarterback being overpaid because they had Carson Wentz on a rookie contract. You need a quarterback on a rookie contract who's going to be able to produce right away and actually do something. So I think Zach Wilson's that guy. After that, you fix the line. You get a number 2 receiver that's Terry, and all the other guys filling their roles and fill their roles correctly. That's why I think the receiving core is a little off. You just need another guy who's like a semi number one, who could be a number one at times with Terry actually being locked down. After that, you should be good. And then finally, all these guys are now on rookie deals forever. Like you said, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Deron Payne.
All those guys on the D-line. Deron Payne.
Now is going to be on a 5th-year option next year. This is your window. That rookie contract, that 4 years, that starts next year. You have to go for it. Because once that rookie deal runs out and you got to pay that quarterback, look at Seattle. They lost Richard Sherman. They lost this guy, lost that guy. They were still a solid team, but they couldn't get over that hump anymore because they didn't have all this talent on cheap contracts. So you got to go for it now, man. Next year, you got to go for it. Just go for it. NFC East is trash. I don't care. I don't think it'll get much better. I'm sorry. I don't care. We should be the beast of the East next year. I think we should be like the Patriots of the NFC East. We should be 5-1, 6-0 in this division and smashing these boys like they stole something. If we need to get in the playoffs and go crazy.
Okay. Tim, what are your thoughts?
The Super Bowl window definitely depends on what our quarterback looks like next year.
Yes.
Okay. So we definitely need a quarterback to be a Super Bowl contender. Now, I want to keep Alex, like I said. Actually, for the opposite reason, I don't want to spend a whole ton of money this offseason except for like 1-year deals or maybe 2-year deals because we got to save money for the guys that you guys were just talking about. Okay. I want Jonathan Allen. He's a great locker room guy, great just human being for your franchise, and he's super productive.
Also local product.
Yeah, exactly. So I like Jonathan Allen. Obviously, we're going to have to pay Montez Sweat. Deron Payne is another monster that we're going to have to pay. So we're going to have a ton of money going out in the next 5 years or whatever.
Tim,
what's up?
Can I ask you a question? So
what's that?
You mentioned all the guys on the D-line, and I mean, all of us have, but with you just mentioning them, do you think it's a smart play to have so much money like tied up in the defensive line? Like, I feel like we're going to have to let at least one of those guys go. Because
Keep Matt Ioannidis.
Yeah. I mean, he's
already under contract.
Okay.
Tim Settle will have to go.
1 more year, right?
He signed a 3-year deal. Yeah, I think he signed a 3-year deal, right? So I guess was this not the first year of his 3-year deal?
Maybe.
Didn't he sign it last year? No, I don't remember now. I think we may have him for 2 more years, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But so should we tie up that much money into these players? In a sense, I would say no, because you shouldn't pay one person a ton of money anyway. Like, I didn't like the Khalil Mack signing, even though I thought Khalil Mack was great. But when the Bears went and got him, they had one good season, and now they've struggled since. I didn't like paying Aaron Rodgers a boatload of money. Now, the one exception, I do like paying Pat Mahomes any amount of money that he wants to get paid. But for the most part, I am on the boat of you don't want to pay one guy a whole ton of money. But at the same time, right now, what we're having is we've been drafting a lot of good quality human beings that are also great players. Chase Young, great locker room guy. Everybody loves Chase Young right now. Terry McLaurin, one of the quiet leaders that everybody loves and wants to get behind. Alex Smith is another one that's great, but we didn't draft him. But another great locker room guy. Deron Payne, nobody has complaints. Jonathan Allen, I love Jonathan Allen. And we just are building a locker room that we're talking about culture change all year. And that's what we're building. And so I want to continue to have these kind of guys in my locker room. So if that means I have to pay these guys, I would. I want to pay these dudes. They're fantastic football players, but also great human beings. And we've been hitting on them all day long. So my biggest concern besides the quarterback next year to give us a real shot at winning football games is the linebacker position.
Mm-hmm.
Our linebacker position is a huge problem. I like Cole Holcomb, but that's about it.
No.
I'm not a big John Bostic fan. Pierre Lewis, no. Thomas Davis is old as dirt. So we need to get the Luke Kuechly of Ron Rivera's Carolina defense on our squad next year. So if we could fill those two spots, I really like our chances to win any game. And then the third biggest piece I think we need is a tight end. I like Logan as a number 2, but getting another, I want a top tight end, like a legit tight end, way more than I want a receiver number 2 right now. Cause I like Kelvin Harmon. I like Cam Sims has a possibility. Mm-hmm. I like Emmanuel Hall as another guy that maybe not a lot of people remember this offseason that hurt himself. I like him coming out of Missouri. So I think we have a lot of interesting talent, and we could find one in the 5th, 6th, 7th round next year. Receivers and running backs are kind of a dime a dozen almost. You can find them in all sorts of rounds. You don't need to draft them high. So that's how I feel that we need a quarterback. That's number 1. We got to see what our quarterback situation is before we talk Super Bowl next year, and we can do anything.
Yeah. I just think it's crazy that we're mentioning Washington football team, Washington, whatever, like with Super Bowl in the same sentence. It's just like, how many years of torture have us fans been through? And for like a national media guy to just go out there and say like our Super Bowl window is starting next year. I just think that shows the culture shift.
In the off season, people call me crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just cool to see like guys, like people from outside this area, like really giving us credit, really giving this team credit, and really think we have a bright future. And I think for the first time in all of our lifetimes, this.
Or you heard what Good Morning Football said? Like they were like the Good Morning Football comment of like the 3 things that are scary right now. I think it was Pat Mahomes, somebody else, and then the Washington D line.
Aaron Rodgers.
Was it Aaron Rodgers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. And then the third best force in the NFL is our D line, which I would agree. I think they're great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's just crazy to get this national buzz around this team. I do want to say though, before getting into like what my thoughts are on the future of this team, I do want to say Aaron Rodgers is actually someone who, outside of Patrick Mahomes, I would give all the money for. And I know Jamon would like that because got the Packers right there, got Aaron Rodgers. But those are probably the only 2 guys. I do want to say, though, with this team, I think things are just looking up, man. Things are looking up for this team. I think the quarterback situation, Tim hit the nail on its head. That's the situation that we need to get settled ASAP, whether it's Alex Smith for another year or Dwayne Haskins shows us something in these last 3 weeks, or we get a young quarterback in the draft, or we get a Matt Stafford, who I know Jamon's very high on or thinks is a great fit here. If we get someone like that, either way, we need a quarterback. We need to settle that position, and things will be going up from there. I do think, though, in terms of other needs, I would actually spend money on a legit wide receiver 1 in the offseason. And in particular, I would spend money on one guy who I've seen a lot of in Chicago as a college student, and that guy's Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, no matter the quarterback, he's stepped up, he's produced, and I think he would be a great fit here. He gives me a lot of Terry McLaurin vibes, less so in terms of his style of play, more so in terms of his just experience in Chicago and him just being able to produce, give you 1,000-yard seasons and he's just been a monster and would be a great fit here. I was a huge Kenny Golladay fan, but he just seems like he can never get healthy. He's always been injured, and he'd be a good fit here in terms of talent, but availability is oftentimes the best ability, and Kenny Golladay doesn't really give you that week in and week out. I would also spend money on a linebacker, or at least spend a lot of draft capital on a linebacker and try to shore up that position. Tim, linebacker has been a position. Corey knows this too. He's in the chat right now. It's been a position that I very much coined as a position of interest, a position of need, and we need to address that position. Even Chris Cooley talked about this. If we have a game-changing linebacker, I believe that's probably the last thing we need on that defense to really be a top 5 defense and to be a game-changing defense. And if we get one of those guys, maybe in the draft and free agency, should be good. Tight end 1, the jury's still out on Logan Thomas. If he could continue to give you consistent production, maybe we could do another season with him, because we don't have $100 million. We don't have 25 draft picks. So I think we should be good there. And Devontae Smith, Outlaw Kings brought that up. Good player. Maybe we can target in the draft, although it'll probably go in the first round, and we might need to address the quarterback position with the first round pick. We'll see. But I think that, man, go ahead.
If you are not sold on a quarterback in this draft, don't reach. That's the last thing you can do, because you can't just be selling. I've always had the belief that if you don't think a quarterback can be a franchise quarterback, don't draft them. Because the thing is, I think there's a difference between a starting quarterback and a franchise quarterback. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting quarterback. I think that Teddy Bridgewater is a starting quarterback. I think that the lower end franchise quarterback is your Jared Goff. So if whoever they try to draft, whether it's Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, if they can be better than Jimmy Garoppolo, that's fine. But if they don't think that they're the guy, then there's no need to do it, because this team can still win games with Alex Smith. And you saw the Kansas City Chiefs. They waited a while. They said, hey, Alex Smith, we're winning games with him. We'll ride and die with him for a while until we find our guy. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, agree. We don't need a game-changing quarterback in order for us to win games next year, in order for us to be a legit contender. But it would be great. It would be great to finally get a quarterback, secure that position for a long time. See what's happening with the Chiefs. I know we can't always get a Patrick Mahomes type talent, but
Dwayne Haskins. Go Dwayne Haskins.
We'll see. We'll see about Haskins. We'll see. He has 3 more weeks.
Another year.
Yeah.
You never know.
We'll see. Michael Parsons also a very good option in the draft. But what was that, Tony?
That's the linebacker from Alabama, right?
Penn State.
Penn State.
Oh, Penn State. Okay.
Well, Penn State fan is a dog. Simple.
Yeah.
Who's the linebacker from Alabama?
Dylan Moses.
Oh, yeah.
His stock is dropping, though.
All right, well, then perfect. Get him in the second or third.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, great fit.
Go give me a dog.
But, that's all the questions that I prepared for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Protech, Tony, Tim, you got Juice, Jamon. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. Appreciate the support as always. And it was a very fun one. We got a lot of good conversation going. Got to talk about our Washington football team. And should be a great matchup on Sunday. Hopefully we could shock the world once more and beat out the Seattle Seahawks and maybe make a run at things. Maybe just continue shocking the world. We'll see. But thank you guys again so much for watching.
Yeah, real quick. Thank you for having us for sure. I appreciate it. It's awesome. But I just want to let everybody know, if they want to, I'm about to go live for the Chargers-Raiders game. I do a little play-by-play as well and talk some football there. And then me and Chris are going to have a debate. One of the dudes in my chat are debate on at halftime, should the Patriots keep Bill Belichick moving forward. So we're going to have a debate on that too. So if you guys want to come at halftime, and chat it up in there as well and give your opinions.
I want some of your Tim Shine link. I'll go hit the subscribe button and go watch.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'll make sure to add links to all your guys' channels in the description. I'll edit the description right now. And make sure you guys subscribe to everyone's channel. The Tim Sports Talk, Protech Sports, the Juice Alert, all putting good content out there. Washington football team and beyond. But yeah, thank you guys again. And all the people in the chat, Tone, Corey, Outlaw, Brian, say, Asan, call me fam. Everyone in the chat, Brandon, Nathan, everybody, Jaquan, fins up, producing a very lively chat tonight. Thank you guys so much.
He was going crazy in this jump. He was going nuts.
Yeah. Fins up again. Don't know about the Miami versus DC take. Well, let's calm down there. But I mean, it's lit. It's lit. That's it for this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and
right, guys,
see you on
thanks.
the next one.
See y'all, man. Take it easy, y'all.